Want to know about your future aims in this life? The people you influence and how you make a difference within the world? Well, I am here to tell you all about your hopes and wishes planet based on astrology. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Hannah and welcome back, Cosmic Warriors. Before we do dive into today's video, if you want to learn more about astrology, then head on over to the Cosmic Check-In podcast. And if you would like to book a reading with me, then go to hannahselsewhere.com. I hope you enjoy the video. Let's do this. Alright, so before we start, which house is your 11th house ruler in? Let us know down below in the comment section, and there is also a quick guide to help you locate it if you're not sure. Alright, so the 11th house in astrology. The 11th house tells us about our hopes and wishes for the future. So the kinds of things we would like to happen, things that may or may not happen, matters we wish for, we hope for. It's also about our collective visions and aims. So how we band together with others with a common goal in mind. What are the objectives and the aims of the group? It's a house of community, togetherness, and group participations. So how we do participate, how we join in, how we make friends, the kinds of friends we attract, our platonic relationships. Equally, the 11th house looks at our group contributions, such as giving to charity, volunteering, helping out a friend, the kinds of clubs and groups we choose to be a part of as well. And so in this way, it is a house of alliances and connecting with like-minded individuals. However, we also see our ability to challenge the status quo, to create social change and to innovate, to question authority. Think about rallies, protests, causes, movements, charities, petitions. But essentially, the 11th house is a house of influence. How do you influence others? How do others influence you? Think also about the social media world, the online world. Think about fans, followers, subscribers, supporters. How these kinds of people show up within this house. But also big gains. Gains from others, from groups and communities. But today, we will focus primarily on the hopes, wishes, and influencing aspects of the 11th house. So on that note, let's get into it. If the 11th house ruler is located in the first house in your chart, your hopes and wishes are strongly intertwined with your overall direction in life, as if you focus primarily on making your aims happen. When others interact with you, they are instantly met with your willingness to make the world a better place. They're instantly met with your hopes and wishes, what you want out of life. You tend to give off this vibe of humanitarianism, helping others, being of service to others, or just being of service to something that's much bigger than yourself, right? Think about causes, for example. And so when it comes to how you influence others, your independence, your leadership abilities, influence them, influence others, your ability to lead the way, to do your own thing, and to focus on your individual path. You influence others to direct their own life rather than them waiting around for someone else to do it for them. You also influence others by getting them to question the status quo. Now, of course, this does depend on the planet and sign. So, for example, someone with Scorpio on the 11th, with Mars and Capricorn in the first, they influence humanity with their ambition, their determination, with their sharp focus. Their hopes and their wishes involve their purpose and social transformations. But then take someone with Taurus on the 11th, with Venus in Cancer in the first. They influence humanity with their care, their support, their protection. Their hopes and wishes may involve their personal comforts and social desires. All right, so if the 11th house ruler is located in the second house in your chart, your hopes and wishes are linked to your possessions and finances. So, for example, hoping to build material wealth and desires of achieving financial security. Contributions from your groups, friends, and communities tend to support you. You also find ways of improving social environments for the betterment of all, using your own money, possibly using your own resources. And so, when it comes to how you influence others, your strong financial gains influence them. Your ability to be resourceful and to be practical as you pursue your dreams. Plus, your generosity, right? Your generosity influences others. This does depend on the planet and sign, of course. So, for example, someone with Capricorn on the 11th, with Saturn and Aries in the second, they influence humanity with their courage and their boldness and their bravery. Their hopes and wishes really can involve reaching their mountain of success to support their preferred lifestyle. But then someone with Cancer on the 11th, with Moon in Libra in the second, well, they might influence humanity with their financial tenacity, with their leadership abilities. Their hopes and wishes could very well involve creating harmony and a safe environment. Moving on to the 11th house ruler being located in the third house. So, your hopes and wishes are spoken about often with those in your close social circles. You might share your aspirations with cousins, siblings, neighbors, close friends. Perhaps gaining insight from others around you is also likely here. Maybe you also network with your peers, or you're really good at connecting within wider groups, wider audiences. You get involved within your local communities, your local areas, which could very well heighten your visibility and your reach. Your social connections then help you out, and they act as a great source of learning for you. And so when it comes to how you influence others, your ideas, your mind, and really can influence them. Your writing, how you speak, how you show up on social media, the way you word things, how you phrase things, your accent, your many interests. Of course, this does depend on the planet and the sign. So, for example, someone with Virgo on the 11th, with Mercury and Capricorn in the third, they might influence humanity with their well thought out intellect, with their knowledge, their practical knowledge, and their hopes and wishes could very well involve their community, so being of service within their community. But then take someone with Pisces on the 11th, with Jupiter and Cancer in the third, they influence humanity with their spiritual insights, with their supportive wisdom. Their hopes and wishes may involve a compassionate and familiar community. If the 11th house ruler is located in the 4th house in your chart, well, your hopes and wishes are very much tied to your home and your family life, such as settling down somewhere, setting down roots, or seeking to feel really close to family members that you care about. Establishing a secure foundation is preferred here. Friends, they tend to feel like family, or family feel like friends. Your family might also support your aspirations, or they get involved in communities and clubs you're a part of. Significant gains may also come through family. Of course, this really can depend, but still, when it comes to how you influence others, your home life, your family life can very well influence people. How you care for yourself, how you regulate your self-awareness, your history, your connections with the past, or with your roots. Like I said, yes, this can depend on the planet and sign. So for example, someone with Aquarius on the 11th, with Saturn and Cancer in the 4th, they might influence humanity with their depth of emotional connection and intuition. But you see, their hopes and wishes could involve making the world a better place so that they can support their loved ones, right? There can be more of this tension, this struggle with this combination. But then someone with Leo on the 11th, with Sun and Capricorn in the 4th, they influence humanity with their structured home life and their discipline. There can still be some tension because we've got this Capricorn Saturnian influence involved. Still, their hopes and wishes may involve securing a bright future. Okay, so if the 11th house ruler is located in the 5th house in your chart, your hopes and wishes, well, they represent the part of you that seeks to produce and create, such as striving to have children, becoming an artist, performing, using your imagination to make something spectacular. Perhaps you set out to make something original, and also something original that can change society whilst impacting many. Receiving popularity for your artistic hobbies is a strong possibility here. What you produce may gain traction later on in life. And so when it comes to how you influence others, your creativity, your hobbies, your passions, these things influence them. The way you express yourself, how you are unapologetically yourself, or the way you raise your children, or the way you experience happiness and joy in your life. Yes, this does depend on the planet and sign. So, for example, someone with Libra on the 11th, with Venus in Aries in the 5th, they might influence humanity with their sass, with their confidence. Their hopes and wishes could involve following their passions and then drawing from them to make the world a better place. Someone with Aries on the 11th, with Mars and Libra in the 5th, they could influence humanity with their beauty, with their grace and their refinement. Their hopes and wishes could involve collaborative goals so that others may benefit. Moving on to the 11th house ruler residing in the 6th house in your chart. So, your hopes and wishes are closely linked to your services, your offerings, and your refinement. Making a difference in the world is not something you take lightly, for you can be quite the perfectionist regarding your ideals, really wanting to make them happen, actually. Perhaps your hopes are a part of your everyday routines and your habits. And your contributions to society involve being of service, really helping people. Those you work with may also assist you, or you quite literally work with your friends. So when it comes to how you influence others, it's your routines, it's your schedules, it's your health, it's how you take care of yourself, take care of your body, how you attend to your to-do lists, your productivity levels, how you manage your stress levels, or the way you even help others. That is what influences people. How you show up, your dedication, your craft, right? Yes, this does depend on the planet and the sign. So someone with Gemini on the 11th, with Mercury in Capricorn in the 6th, well, they might influence humanity with their business mindset, with their daily accomplishments. Their hopes and wishes could involve building something that is long lasting. But then take someone with Sagittarius on the 11th, with Jupiter in Cancer in the 6th, they might influence humanity with their positive impacts on their communities and their groups. Their hopes and wishes may involve mentorship or tutoring. I hope you are enjoying this video so far, and if you are, then please be sure to give the video a like and subscribe for more. And if you are interested in learning more about astrology, then you can always pick up a copy of my astrology cheat sheets. The links are down below. Thank you so much. Moving on then to the 11th house ruler residing in the 7th house. Right, so your hopes and wishes, they are perhaps collaborative, they are joint. It's a joint effort. It's all about sharing here. So for example, you and your spouse striving towards the same things in life, starting a business with a business partner, sharing within a large network, a large group, or an organization, a team, maybe managing a team. Perhaps you meet your spouse through a group of mutual friends, or you strongly believe in the strength of banding together with a common goal in mind. You potentially do business with your friends or just group projects with friends. So then when it comes to how you influence other people, well, this could be about how you show up within your relationships, how you collaborate, how you partner up, but also how you negotiate, how you reach win-win outcomes. These things influence other people. Plus, how you challenge others, how you debate them. This does depend on the planet and sign. So someone with Scorpio on the 11th, with Mars and Cancer in the 7th, They might influence humanity with their supportive partnerships and their business security. Their hopes and wishes could very well involve collaborations that help them in their position of power. Then take someone with Taurus on the 11th, with Venus in Capricorn in the 7th. They might influence humanity with their strong work ethic and their responsible moves within relationships. Their hopes and wishes involve signing a deal that it really does provide them with security. Okay, so if the 11th house ruler resides in the 8th house in your chart, your hopes and wishes transform you in life, as if you cannot fully grasp the significance of major upheavals and powerful changes. For example, a devastating loss might strongly influence and reshape your future entirely, or psychological growth makes you see the world so differently. Outgrowing friends and communities is very likely here. Perhaps your hopes involve joint investments, shared resources, or exploring the unknown, seeing what is hidden, just looking beneath the surface, discovering secrets. And so when it comes to how you influence other people, your transformations and your ability to rise after tragedy really can influence them. You carry yourself through diversity. You hold your head high. This stuff can be very, very aspirational to other people. Of course, it does depend on the planet and sign. So someone with Cancer on the 11th, with Moon in Aries in the 8th, they influence humanity with their energy, with their leadership. Their hopes and wishes may involve supporting others through their own psychological journey. But then someone with Capricorn on the 11th, with Saturn in Libra in the 8th, they might influence humanity with their effective and their really intentional relationship boundaries. Their hopes and wishes could involve successful investments and long-term commitments. Moving on to the 11th house ruler residing in the 9th house in your chart. Well, your hopes and wishes may involve the likes of higher education, expanding your worldview, long distance travel, or exploring different cultures. Maybe you live abroad for a while or for a period of your life, or you move to an entirely different country when you're older, or it's that you embark on a significant journey of self-exploration. You might have friends from many corners of the globe. Communities and clubs expand your mind and they open you up to new ways of life. And so when it comes to how you influence other people, it's your higher education, it's your teachings, it's your philosophies, it's the views you have of life, your understandings of the world, education or not actually. It's these things that influence others. The places you travel to, the experiences you have, the people you meet, your adventurous side, your personal growth. This does depend on the planet and sign. So someone with Virgo on the 11th, with Mercury and Cancer here in the 9th, they might influence humanity with their knowledge of history or geography. Their hopes and wishes might involve organizing family trips or visiting destinations that are close to their heart. But then someone with Pisces on the 11th, with Jupiter in Capricorn, in the 9th, well, they might influence humanity with their knowledge of buildings or ancient ruins. Their hopes and wishes could very well involve setting up a spiritual retreat or taking their work on the road with them. So moving on to the 11th house ruler residing in the 10th house. Right, if you have this combination, your hopes and wishes are strongly really linked to your successes. They speak to your successes, your achievements, your public recognition, your public influences. Perhaps you are the go-to person within groups you join, right? You're seen as an authority of some kind, or it is you who makes a strong impact, right? You're really recognized by others. You may be viewed as the ambitious friend, or you tend to rub elbows with some rather famous or well-known people. Getting involved in professional connections is very much likely, and you might aim to be a part of organizations and groups that are linked to your business, your brand, or your career. And so when it comes to how you influence others, It's your public image, it's your reputation, your success, your professional endeavors. These things influence others, but also how driven and how committed you are. It's your integrity. This also does depend on the planet and sign. Take someone with Libra on the 11th, with Venus in Virgo in the 10th. They influence humanity with their service, with their cleanliness, with their hygiene. Their hopes and wishes could very well involve efficiency and order. But then take someone with Aries on the 11th, with Mars in Pisces in the 10th. They influence humanity with their intuition and their inner knowing. Their hopes and wishes may involve being fluid and flexible. Okay, so moving on to the 11th house ruler residing in the 11th house. So your hopes and wishes tend to be focused on with great concern, as if you're striving for a better world. It's all about your ideals. And so you'll join that charity. You'll sign that petition. You'll send that email. Gather up plenty of people in hopes of making a collective change, a collective impact. You dedicate yourself to global matters that are bigger than yourself. You're an active team player, an active team member, participant, and friend. Perhaps your hopes strongly involve community, starting a club, or being innovative. And so when it comes to how you influence others, your difference influences them. Your ability to think differently, right? Your visions, your social networks, your friendships, your connections, people you know, the types of associations you join, you're a part of, how forward thinking you can be. Of course, this does depend on the planet and sign. So let's say someone with Gemini on the 11th, with Mercury in Gemini on the 11th, they influence humanity with their words, with their intellect. Their hopes and wishes could involve technology or education, invention, perhaps within a team. But then someone with Sagittarius on the 11th, with Jupiter in Sagittarius there, they might influence humanity with their wider perspectives and their bigger picture visions. Their hopes and wishes may involve adventure, discovery, traveling, of course, as well, preferably within groups. And lastly, we've got the 11th house ruler residing in the 12th house in your chart. With this combination, your hopes and wishes are not so clear. You might even prefer to keep them private for a while, or it's that your subconscious is what truly leads the way. While certain things cannot be fully explained or made sense of here, the path ahead, it opens up in mysterious ways. And so you learn to trust the process by walking along. When you give to others, the universe gives back tenfold. Significant gains also arrive in spiritual ways, mysterious ways, and when you're in your hour of need, your friends are there for you. So when it comes to how you influence people, your ability to be passive and to trust influences others. How you surrender, how you get quiet, the way that you really deepen your connections by going within, how you are comfortable in your own space, your ability to be in solitude calmly. This does depend on the planet and sign. So someone with Aquarius on the 11th, with Saturn in Pisces in the 12th, they influence humanity with their deep thoughts and their imagination. Their hopes and wishes might involve spirituality and metaphysics. But then someone with Leo on the 11th, with Sun in Virgo in the 12th, well, they might influence humanity with their talent of really making this spiritual practical. Their hopes and wishes could involve art and producing their own tools. Okay then, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes today's video all about the 11th house ruler through the houses. So thinking about your hopes and wishes planet. I hope you find this video to be helpful and that you learned something new. If you did find it to be helpful, you can always buy me a coffee. Stay tuned for more, of course. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Give the video a like if you liked it today. And I will catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye.